Info. Sam Chinedu here. And our focus for this hour is on the education sector. The federal government is moving against fake certificates. From October 6, all ministries, agencies, and universities must verify staff and applicants' credentials through a central database. Each certificate will be given a unique number to make qualifications traceable and secure. Officials say the reform will protect Nigeria's education integrity and boost global competitiveness. Do I agree? Yes, with the idea of it. But how would we pull this off is a big question. The directive is contained in a service-wide circular signed by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, and addressed to all ministries, departments, agencies, as well as public and private tertiary institutions. According to the circular, the enforcement will be implemented through the National Credential Verification Service, which operates under the Nigeria Education Repository and Data Bank, NERD. It mandates that existing and prospective staff in public and private institutions must obtain clearance from the NCVS before their appointments can be confirmed. Each verified credential will be assigned a national credence number with security codes to ensure traceability and authenticity. Government officials said the new mechanism represents a shift from past interventions, creating a centralized quality assurance system that is independent of individual institutions. Okay? And the initiative draws its legal backing from Section 10, Sub 1 of the Education, National Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act of 1985. All right. So the government is looking to fight fake certification. Now, this is not cynicism or us fighting it. We just want to ask the right questions. And as you can imagine, those questions might sound, especially in the tone that I will ask the questions, like I'm against the policy or I feel that the battle has been lost before we had a chance to fight. My guest is Dr. Uwadiunor. He's a public affairs analyst, education consultant, and as I like to add, a historian. Hello, Dr. Isaac. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Samoraku. Thank you, Rivers people. Thank you for having me here.
Always a pleasure. So before the how, let's ask what. What do you think about this policy, this attempt at reforming the sector?
Sam, let's start like this. Those of us who are in the educational sector, maybe this may bring some reprieve, but may not be a final solution. You know, it's so painful that somebody can go into a business center, carve the logo of a particular institution, write anything, take it somewhere, and somebody is sitting down with a stamp on it, and they said it's authentic. Meanwhile, other people have suffered. They've gone through school, through sweat and blood. They've escaped accidents and all. By the time they bring their own, you begin to wonder whether that is it. So it's a good move on the side of government. That's number one. But what baffled me so much is that this policy was actually initiated in 1985. I don't know whether I get the point I make.
I completely understand.
So from 1985 to date, if my calculation is anything to go by, it's approximately some decades. What were the previous Minister of Education thinking? So credit to Alausa for digging it up. Another thing to consider is those who have benefited from fake certificate, will they allow this to see the light of the day? These are the many questions we may ask as far as the work is concerned.
Okay. Now, let me paint a picture.
Okay.
If I say that I am looking to improve the quality of cakes that I deliver to my clients, of course, by saying that, you would imagine that I'm a baker, so I sell cakes. And I want to ensure that the cakes are top notch, best quality, whatever that may mean in the baking world. But I don't give any ideas or suggestion about fixing the oven. You might not be in a hurry to believe me.
That's true.
The educational system that has, if I may, engendered the culture of fake certificates, is anything happening in that sector? Because if students in school can still sort, people can still pay for the legit certificate without having the capacity, and all the problems in the education sector still exist, what value will this policy hold?
Sam, you have put me in a very tight corner, but we have
Sorry.
to tell you the truth.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, no, to start with, let's begin to look at our educational sector. After health, the next institution of government that requires, outright emergency is the educational sector. I took the case of health first because, just like the adage goes, it takes somebody who is alive, to go to school.
Yeah.
Now, I must state here, not just Tinubu's government, but previous government, may not have done the much they were supposed to do. So you remember there was a time we argued that the standardized budget for education nationally is supposed to be like 26% of the national budget.
Yeah.
We are not doing that. While we are still not doing that, we are multiplying institutions as if we are planting tomatoes in the nursery. So if you go along that line of thought, you now ask, the quality of people who are managing our educational sector are not being critical here, for God's sake. But there were some who made little or no contribution and were interested on how much will come into their pocket. So to that extent, it has happened. There are also times that government, severally, from time to time, refused to address the issue of education. Fam, it's on record that ASU has gone to strike 6 times in the last 10 years. And in each of these strikes, none of them was less than 6 months. So I can appreciate where your question is coming from. But the truth of it is that reform must start from somewhere. If it's not starting from the root, it may start from the stem before it gets to the fruit. Let's assume that is what the federal government is trying to do at this stage.
Okay. And our break is in less than 2 minutes, so I can squeeze this question in. How practical is it for every ministry, agency, and university to comply by the October 6th deadline? Today is 26th of September.
Sam, well, in Nigeria, nothing is impossible. But in other climes, I think it will require a minimum of 6 months for you to even begin to do advocacy on this program. I heard you in the background that this thing was signed about 2-3 months ago, but it only came to the limelight a few days ago. That's to show you the kind of government that we operate in this part of the world. But whatever it is, that October 6th is not feasible. The Nigerian factor will not make it possible. So let's leave it like that.
All right, we take that break. After that, more on this, and you get to be a part of the conversation. Please stay with us. back, still hard facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu here. The federal government is moving against fake certificates. From October 6, all ministries, agencies, and universities must verify staff and applicants' credentials through a central database. Each certificate will be given a unique number to make qualifications traceable and secure. Officials say the reform will protect Nigeria's education integrity, and boost global competitiveness. My guest is Dr. Isaac Uwadiunor. He is public affairs analyst and education consultant. Thank you for staying with us, Dr. Uwadiunor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me here.
That was a pleasure. Now, I'm concerned about this database. If properly executed, it will work well. But I'm also looking at other institutions that have failed in this regard. We've had database problems with INEC till today. Some people still have more than one PVC. Some other institutions here and there, have issues around multiple registrations and the system not working well. I think for now, it's just the banking sector, to the best of my knowledge, that has managed to, maybe the telecoms, right? With the BVN, I really haven't heard of any problems in that sector. So, can education thrive where others failed? And I'm speaking to an updated database that can work.
Yeah, Sam, let's start from somewhere. The problem of Nigeria is not that there are no specific people who can do the job, with respect to integrity, and then performance. The problem of Nigeria is more political than any other thing. I'm glad you made mention of the banks, and particularly when you talk about the BVN, you know that you have only one BVN. It's only possible because what is involved is your life savings and life earning. And that's one. Now, in the issue of politics, when you refer to PVC and others, I'm sure you know the mentality of a typical Nigerian man. That election is another way of getting back from government what they have refused to do legitimately. So, and that mentality has been a very big problem. So institutions don't fail in Nigeria because they want to fail. They fail because of the mindset of people who are in power and who may have also given coded decision. After all, if you're a bank executive and you said you want this BVN, I give you a very good example. One popular bank in Port Harcourt, I was there the other day to pay my children's school fees. It was already 4 o'clock. They said that their boss is coming from Lagos. If you even see the kind of treatment that they gave to me so that I can leave the banking hall at after 4 for their boss not to see that there's somebody in the banking hall, it's different. But you can't take that with any political institution. When it comes to Nigeria, they will tell you our local government is not taking into.
Hello? Hello? Oh my. Okay, so I'll have to try to reconnect with Dr. Uwadiunor so we can wrap up. But I'd like to hear from you. Will this policy stop fake degrees in Nigeria? What is your take on the conversation? 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 06416. A few years before I got into school, and by school I mean university, I remember seeing some guys help someone forge a document. It was a business center. I think at this time I had taken JAM, that space between waiting for admission. And, I wondered what they were doing. I kept looking. It wasn't a certificate, but it was a document that somebody needed to go into school. And I will not mention the school, a university in this country.